The federal courthouse in Manhattan was a fortress of tension, its marble halls vibrating with the weight of 1,000 unspoken secrets. On July 2nd, 2025, the air was thick with anticipation as reporters, bloggers, and spectators packed the galleries, their eyes fixed on the defendant's table. Sean "Diddy" Combs, hip-hop titan, cultural icon, and architect of a billion-dollar empire, sat in a tailored suit, his face a mask of composure. But that composure shattered when a surprise witness took the stand, a figure no one expected, a former Bad Boy Records intern named Marcus Tate, clutching a hard drive labeled The Vault. As he began to speak, revealing secrets collected over a decade, Diddy's empire began to crumble in real time. The courtroom gasped, the judge's gavel froze, and the world watched as a legend faced his reckoning. This wasn't just a trial. It was a seismic collision of power, truth, and betrayal, exposing the dark underbelly of an industry built on glamour and silence. The evidence, audio recordings, encrypted files, and chilling testimonies, painted a portrait of a man who wielded influence like a weapon, manipulating artists, silencing victims, and orchestrating a network of fear. This is the story of how one man's courage ignited a movement, how a system that protected the powerful began to crack, and how the music industry was forced to confront its shadows. Stay with us as we unravel this historic drama and hit that subscribe button to join the fight for truth. The trial of Sean "Diddy" Combs, which began on May 5, 2025, at the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan, was a media circus from day one. The charges were staggering: racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution. Diddy, once the untouchable king of hip-hop, faced accusations that could imprison him for life. The prosecution had spent years building their case, collecting evidence from over 100 electronic devices and interviewing more than 50 witnesses, including former employees and victims. Yet, despite the mounting evidence, Diddy's legal team, led by the formidable Mark Agnifilo, maintained his innocence, framing the accusations as a racially motivated witch hunt. The first weeks were grueling. Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend and a key witness, testified for 4 days, detailing years of physical and psychological abuse, including coerced participation in freak-off parties, marathon events involving drugs and exploitation. Her testimony was harrowing, describing how Diddy controlled every aspect of her life, from her career to her personal freedom. Another witness, a woman known as Jane Doe, corroborated Cassie's accounts, alleging she was forced into similar acts under threats to her family. The courtroom was a pressure cooker, but no one could have predicted the moment that would change everything. The early days of the trial set the stage for a cultural reckoning. Cassie's courage in speaking out, despite years of fear, highlighted the power dynamics that allowed Diddy to operate unchecked. The music industry, long criticized for exploiting young talent, was now under a microscope. The freak-off allegations weren't just about Diddy. They exposed a systemic issue where fame and power shielded abusers. This wasn't just a legal battle. It was a mirror held up to an industry that had turned a blind eye for too long. What do you think about the courage it takes to confront a powerful figure like Diddy? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's start a conversation. On the fourth week, the prosecution called Marcus Tate, a former intern at Bad Boy Records who had risen to a trusted position before vanishing from the industry in 2015. Now in his 30s, Marcus walked to the stand with a quiet intensity, carrying a hard drive he called The Vault. He revealed that he had spent a decade collecting evidence, audio recordings, emails, and financial records, documenting Diddy's alleged crimes. "I was young, naive, and trusted him," Marcus said, his voice steady but heavy with emotion. "But I saw things that haunt me. I couldn't stay silent anymore." The courtroom fell silent as the first piece of evidence played, a 2008 audio clip of Diddy instructing an associate to handle a young artist who had refused to sign an exploitative contract. "Make it clear who runs this game," Diddy's voice hissed. Another recording from 2012 captured him discussing a freak-off party, detailing how to ensure attendees' silence through NDAs and intimidation. A 2016 email chain revealed payments to a private security firm to manage a whistleblower who had threatened to go public. The most damning evidence was a 2020 video, secretly recorded by Marcus, showing Diddy orchestrating a party where attendees appeared coerced, their faces etched with fear. The music industry has faced similar scandals, from R. Kelly to Harvey Weinstein's Hollywood Reckoning. Yet Diddy's case stands out for its scope, a billionaire mogul accused of orchestrating a criminal network under the guise of entertainment. Marcus's evidence echoed the hashtag #MeToo movement's impact, proving that no one is untouchable when evidence is undeniable. Have you ever witnessed someone stand up to a powerful system? Share your story in the comments. We're building a community of truth seekers. As the evidence mounted, Diddy's polished demeanor cracked. During the playback of the 2020 video, he gripped the table, his knuckles white, his eyes darting to his family in the gallery. His mother, Janice Combs, sat stone-faced, while his children, Quincy, Justin, Christian, Chance, Jesse, and Lila, watched in stunned silence. The courtroom was a crucible, and Diddy was melting under its heat. Marcus's testimony culminated in a revelation that shook the room: a list of 12 names, including artists and executives, allegedly targeted for intimidation or worse. One name stood out: a young rapper who had died in a 2018 plane crash, long rumored to be suspicious. Diddy's legal team fought back, questioning Marcus's credibility and claiming the evidence was manipulated. But the prosecution's experts confirmed the file's authenticity, leaving little room for doubt. The jury, a mix of 8 men and 4 women, sat in stunned silence, some visibly shaken. The judge, Arun Subramanian, maintained order, but the weight of the moment was palpable. Outside, protesters chanted "Justice for Cassie," while others, wearing Free Diddy shirts, clashed with them, reflecting the polarized public sentiment. Diddy's unraveling was more than personal, it was symbolic. His empire, built on Bad Boy Records, Sean John clothing, and Ciroc vodka, represented the American dream, a black man rising from Harlem to global stardom. Yet the allegations revealed a darker side: power used to exploit, not uplift. Marcus's evidence exposed the fragility of such empires when built on coercion. The courtroom's reaction mirrored society's: shock, anger, and a growing demand for accountability. What does Diddy's fall mean for the future of the music industry? Drop your thoughts in the comments and join the discussion. Marcus's testimony went beyond Diddy, exposing a culture that enabled him. He described a network of gatekeepers, label executives, promoters, even media figures, who turned a blind eye to Diddy's actions for profit or fear. It wasn't just him, Marcus said. It was a machine. If you spoke out, you were blacklisted, threatened, or worse. He recounted a 2014 incident where a female artist was dropped from Bad Boy after refusing Diddy's advances. Her career derailed overnight. Another witness, a former security guard, corroborated this, admitting he had escorted unwilling attendees to Diddy's parties. The trial also revealed Diddy's financial tactics: payments to silence victims, disguised as consulting fees, and shell companies used to funnel money. A 2019 bank record showed a $30,000 payment to a consultant who later testified she was paid to stay quiet about an assault. These revelations painted a picture of a man who weaponized wealth and influence to maintain control. Societal implications: the trial's fallout exposed the cost of idolizing fame. Fans who once celebrated Diddy's hits now grappled with his alleged crimes, questioning their role in elevating him. The case also highlighted racial dynamics. Diddy's team claimed he was targeted as a successful black man, but the evidence was too damning to dismiss. It's a reminder that justice must transcend race, focusing on truth over narrative. Have you seen similar systems of silence in other industries? Share your insights in the comments, and let's expose the truth together. On July 2nd, 2025, after 8 weeks of testimony and 3 days of deliberation, the jury delivered a mixed verdict. Diddy was acquitted of the most severe charges: sex trafficking and racketeering, but convicted on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution, facing up to 20 years in prison. As the verdict was read, Diddy bowed his head, whispering to his attorney, while his family wept. Outside, the crowd erupted, some cheering for justice, others decrying the system. Marcus Tate, leaving the courthouse, was mobbed by reporters. "This isn't about me," he said. "It's about the victims who were silenced. I hope they feel heard now." Cassie Ventura's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, praised her courage, noting that her testimony paved the way for others. Yet organizations like Ultraviolet criticized the verdict as a stain on the justice system, arguing that Diddy's acquittal on major charges showed how power still shields the guilty. The verdict was a bittersweet milestone. The convictions validated the victims' stories, but the acquittals sparked outrage, highlighting the challenge of prosecuting systemic abuse. Diddy's financial losses, his net worth plummeted from $1 billion in 2022 to $600 million by 2024, were a form of justice, but his legacy as a cultural icon was irreparably tarnished. Marcus's evidence was pivotal, proving that grassroots whistleblowers can challenge titans. What does this verdict mean to you? Share your reaction in the comments, and let's keep the conversation alive. As the trial closed, the music industry stood at a crossroads. Marcus Tate's bravery inspired a wave of new allegations, with 120 additional victims, including 25 minors, coming forward by October 2024. Social media erupted with hashtags like #JusticeForVictims and #BreakTheSilence, signaling a cultural shift. Record labels scrambled to distance themselves from Diddy, while artists like Kesha publicly supported Cassie, amplifying the call for accountability. What's next? This trial is a wake-up call. The systems that enabled Diddy, greed, fear, and complicity, are not unique to music. They exist in every industry where power goes unchecked. Marcus Tate's story shows that change begins with one voice, backed by undeniable evidence. But the fight continues. Victims are still speaking out, and enablers are still hiding. The question is, will we listen, or will we let the cycle repeat? Marcus Tate didn't just expose Diddy. He exposed a truth we all must face. Power without accountability breeds corruption, but courage can break the silence. Let's honor the victims by refusing to stay quiet, by questioning the systems we've accepted, and by fighting for a future where no one is above justice. The music may have paused, but the movement has just begun.